Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Nick here, and today we have another very interesting reaction video here today. We're actually going to be reacting to a short documentary for this thing called Birds Aren't Real. If you don't know what Birds Aren't Real is, it's a satirical conspiracy theory movement that I've actually known about for a little while now. It's like really funny stuff. And what's funny about this interview is I've seen, I saw a little bit of it before. I actually had not seen the whole thing, actually. But, I'm excited to react to this thing and actually see what it's all about and stuff. But what's funny is that the little bits that I did see is that the guy who created Birds Aren't Real actually came out to admit that it was fake and it was satirical because he actually, advertised it as him actually believing that birds are not real. It's really funny stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys really enjoy the video of me reacting to this. And just one more thing I want to mention. If you notice that the clothes in the video that I'm wearing are different than the clothes I'm wearing right now, I actually pre-filmed this reaction last weekend, but I didn't have enough time to actually film the intro until now due to busy stuff going on in my life. But yeah, so this is the intro, and you're about to watch some footage of me reacting to Birds Aren't Real. So yeah, without further ado, please enjoy the footage.
Hey, there was a caller who said they thought your van was suspicious.
What's suspicious about the van?
I don't know.
I am a bird truther, a person who doesn't believe in birds, and who's part of a larger movement called the Birds Aren't Real movement.
So in America, there is a growing conspiracy that years ago their government killed all the birds.
It's a movement of people that want you to know that birds are actually drones.
I mean, you don't really believe that that happened, correct?
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
We do not find this to be a humorous issue. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I guess if we're looking at numbers like TikTok and Reddit and Instagram and all that, probably 2 million people that follow us. But movements don't just exist on the internet, they exist in the real world. This is just shrouded in darkness for me. It feels like we're at the end of a chapter. I was basically playing a character much of my life.
Oh my gosh.
Right now I'm just traveling the country in this van, ready to go make a stand.
We're part of a movement that believes that every single bird in the skies is a robot. It's always beautiful to get to talk to someone and see the little spark that lights up in their eyes when they understand the truth for the first time,
They go and they do this on stage? Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh my god, watch what happens with Franklin.
Oh, he loves paper bags.
In there immediately.
It's his little trick. The day I met Peter was like the craziest day of my life, actually. He just started talking about all this crazy stuff, and he was just sitting with the Birds Aren't Real poster. He was just so serious too. He was so serious holding the sign, and we were just like, what is this guy doing? After that, my whole friend group we were obsessed with him.
They're very sweet friends to me.
It was just weird because it was a day that notably changed all of our lives.
My name is Peter.
That has got to be the most epic way to meet your partner. You're starting a whole fake movement about birds saying that they aren't real, and then you attract somebody and they end up being your partner. That has got to be the most epic way to meet somebody. I think that is a funny... Oh, I think that's just a great, funny story of how people met. This is going to be so awkward if the two of them end up having kids. The kid's how did you guys meet each other? It's well, your father... started a movement about birds not being real, and then we just hit it off. That's got to be the most epic thing that you could tell your kids. My lord, dude, this is hysterical.
You're McIndoe.
Welcome.
Pizza McIndoe.
Birds Aren't Real has sort of made this community, and there's a bunch of members of that community all across America.
Hey, I don't trust the bird media!
I don't trust the bird.
We're here because of a tragedy of 12 billion birds murdered by the United States government. How do you feel about that? Terrible!
Oh
Birds
my
Aren't Real in
gosh.
Cincinnati, Birds Aren't Real in Chicago, and Austin, and Arizona. Everyone is coming together, all with their own signs.
You got to sit here and think for a second. Imagine if you're some random innocent bystander who knows nothing about this kind of movement, and then you drive by a street or you go to a parking lot like this and you see people holding up signs saying that birds aren't real. Oh, that's got to be the most ridiculous thing in the world, man. This is cracking me up. If it flies, it spies.
movement's pretty much made out of Gen Z. And I think that a lot of Gen Z feels madness.
Oh, that's the most Gen Z thing to ever do.
A protest demanding that Twitter change. It's disgusting propaganda.
They're burning flags over it. It's weird.
Not stand for the swamp media trying to destroy our cause.
Oh lord.
Birds are real! Birds are real!
Maybe you've
And
seen
they got
the
billboards for
near
it.
the Highland Strip or heard the story on Wednesdays Live at 9. A campaign called Birds Are Not Real brings its efforts to the Mid-South.
From 1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds and simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise.
I mean, you don't really believe that that happened, correct? This is a satirical campaign to make the point that what?
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
Okay.
Okay, I've seen this interview he's reacting to before. The first time I ever watched it, I died so hard of laughter from him saying, honestly, that's kind of offensive. He really got the comedic timing on that perfectly. He wasn't reactive or responsive. He was there to convince people that this is what he believed. He's, oh, you don't actually believe this stuff, do you? Honestly, it's kind of offensive. That cracks me up. I showed this interview to a family member of mine who I told about Birds Aren't Real, and we died of laughing watching that thing. And we thought to ourselves, like, this guy has to be some kind of an actor, because he's really committing to the role of I don't believe in birds. And he really trolled them really well, man. This is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
This is the first time that I've ever broken character in an interview. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I realized I don't know how to do it. Like, I have no idea how to be out of character.
Nice to see him be real, though.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a really interesting experience.
I bet.
I have been playing a character for the past 5 years who believes that every bird is a surveillance drone. Which is part of a larger movement called the Birds Aren't Real movement. I've been basically representing the movement, never leaving character, even in like behind the scenes conversations with journalists or anything. So
oh my gosh.
This is a new experience for me.
Oh, he lived
Birds Aren't Real
this role.
Started by accident in 2017.
Oh,
I was in Memphis with some friends. We all just like went around town. There was some protest happening, a rally. I'd always thought it would be funny, like just like a funny skit, if there was one like person there with a sign that had nothing to do with the unified message of the rally. It's like a poster on a wall that had like a white back of it and just took it off the wall. I just wrote like the 3 most random words I could think of, or the most absurd thing I could think, which was "Birds Aren't Real."
And it went
then
viral,
took the sign and went marching around, telling people very passionately that birds aren't real. Then people would ask me like, well, what does that mean? The concept of it, I guess, was pretty much just made up in like 3 minutes. As I was doing that, the people I were with started just kind of taking videos.
Birds are a myth. They're an illusion. They're a lie. Wake up, America! Wake up! God! Birds are real! Birds are real!
I didn't even like know what satire really meant. Started doing Birds Aren't
really?
Real, and then people started kind of telling us what it was as we were doing it. This is just how it started.
Pigeons, not real. Eagles.
This all started as an accident. This guy was doing it as a little joke, and look how big it got. Like, I'm not suggesting y'all go and start doing stuff like this, but it got him a lot of attention and money, so I think this is a joke and a prank well spent, dude. This is really well done.
It wasn't like we sat down and were like, we're gonna make a satire. It was just an idea put out into the world by accident. Yeah, for some reason, a lot of people identified with.
Pigeons are liars.
Pigeons are liars.
Ready to start.
The birds know your social security number.
So I was just really fascinated with the concept of like a fictional character living in reality.
Birds charge on power lines. They're watching.
I've seen that one before. Birds charging on power lines is my favorite thing that these people said. I read this on the Birds Aren't Real website. I'm pretty sure that was on there. Of all the things they try to explain with birds, that one's my favorite because that is freaking brilliant in my opinion. It's like, well, why do all the if birds are so real, then why do they sit in herds on power lines? Because they have to recharge. Dude, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Watching you and I every day.
From there, everything just happened really fast. It's kind of like a snowball going down a hill. Dropped out of college and moved to Memphis to follow the energy.
It did so well. He was able to drop out of college and make a living out of this. That is an epic way to make a fake conspiracy theory movement, dude. I'm sorry I keep pausing this so much. This is blowing my mind how incredible this is. I mean, honestly, good for him. I think that's super impressive. But don't fall for any of the stupid, like, dumb stuff out there.
That had kind of magically blossomed. Everyone was like, what are you doing?
I bet.
We were coming, locked the whole city down.
We're on their home turf!
We were really interested with the thought that social media kind of presents like a new way to tell a story, and that we're all watching these different stories all the time from these people that we know. And I follow 300 people, like I'm kind of following 300 stories. I was really excited about the idea of being this representative for this greater movement and building the story out underneath it, and kind of taking the seed of this thing and like making a whole lore and history behind it and making it feel real. And then
it really does
what I'm
look real,
representing
though.
isn't just a guy with a sign anymore. There's like all this meaning behind it.
This is Connor, who wrote the history on the website. He's one of my best friends. That's the thing about Birds, is it really is like basically a family operation. So that's my sister, Emily. We built this set in 24 hours in Little Rock.
Since the Eisenhower
really?
administration, the U.S. government has been committing genocide on the entire bird population and replacing...
Connor came in and ended up helping me.
Dude, that really did look like a even though it is a faux documentary, it really did look like a old documentary about birds. That's priceless.
Write all the history and build out kind of this whole world. It's just a super small team.
I made the Vietnam War part of Birds Aren't Real lore.
Then Nick joined the team, and I work with Nick, to write the arcs.
There's 1,000 different ways we can extend this logic to make kind of a reflection of the times we live in.
We don't want people to actually think. I felt like that's why there's jokes in like the history.
There's winks.
There's
twinkles in the eye and everything.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, there's clear jokes.
There's always been a wink and everything. So we never set out to make an actual conspiracy theory. If anyone digs for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, actually watches a couple of the videos.
If anyone puts some thought,
Yeah,
it's clearly
you
a
can
joke.
see what's going
Yeah,
on. Yeah,
it's clearly
this
dumb.
This is Birds Aren't Real. There's nothing more
That
conspiracy than a
van,
conspiracy
man.
van.
I
Literally,
love
it's
it.
like, this information needs to get out so bad, I'm going to put it on my car. We like to tell people this is not what's actually going on. Way more complex.
That's outdated.
Yeah, way more complex technology. This is one of the first models.
Oh, Lord.
Somebody gave us this sign at one of the rallies. It's not a funny
Wow.
matter. We have made these shirts. Connor drew this on his iPad.
There was a certain point when
And it
enough
looks like
people were
pop art
buying
stuff that would
shirts,
go on
like
the
Birds
shirt.
Aren't Real shirts and the merch, that I could like quit my job. My first thought was like,
Oh, Lord.
okay, I'm not an idiot. This wasn't like the biggest mistake of my life.
Really,
No, it's not.
The movement's not representative of any one person. It's representative of lots of people. And the van was kind of meant to be a billboard that can move around. It can be a stage for rallies and can take the idea anywhere.
I've been doing Birds Aren't Real for 5 years now, come this January. It's not something I want to do forever.
Connor and I have been
But
doing
he
Birds
put
together
dedication into it,
for
man.
5 years now.
It's impressive.
And about to go separate ways. Connor's going to Colorado.
Oh.
Just kind of growing in different directions.
Well, that's
There's
cool.
a real like
He's growing beyond the movement.
page turn to a new chapter for everybody, it seems like.
From the first day that Birds Aren't Real became an idea, it felt like it was bigger than me.
And it was.
Birds Aren't Real has sort of made this community, and there's members of that community all across America. We've called it the Bird Brigade.
Wait.
Which members of that community all across America.
This thing got so big, somebody actually tattooed it on their arm. That is ridiculous. Look, I'm like, if you like tattoos, that's cool, and I'm all for funny stuff, but I cannot imagine being into a fake movement like this so much that you want to get it tatted on your arm for the rest of your life. Because after a while, something like this is going to die out, and it's just going to not have much meaning anymore. It's still funny, but I think that's taking a step too far. Yeah, I hope this person doesn't regret their decision.
We called it the Bird Brigade, which is like our boots on the ground activism network.
The Bird Parade?
I'm Caleb. I run the Birds Aren't Real Triangle chapter here in North Carolina.
They'll make chapters at their own colleges and they hold their
Oh,
own
Lord.
rallies. They teach the lore in seminars. We're visiting Brendan down in Arizona. Like, I've never met him and had no involvement with his Birds Aren't Real chapter.
I love his
growing
hat.
and forming itself.
He's really going for that conspiracy theory look. Like, he definitely looks like he's up to something shady. That's priceless, dude.
Peter, bring here, man. It's so great to see you. I've been waiting for this moment, like.
It's truly an honor.
Absolutely.
My name is Brendan Traxel. I'm the president and founder of the Birds Aren't Real NAU chapter here in Flagstaff.
How was the chapter when it began?
When it began, it was basically just me.
I too
Yeah.
spent many a year alone.
Yeah. But now we got tons of people every time, consistent. It's the best feeling.
You guys ready to rally?
Let's rally it up, baby. Yeah, let's do it. See if I can squeeze in here.
You got it. What do you usually chant?
I do like birds, 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 and they say lies, lies, lies.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I've never
Nice.
used that. What would you say is the most important part of Birds Aren't Real to you?
Just the people power, honestly.
Oh,
People
man.
think it's hilarious. It brings joy to people's faces. Everyone in America knows things are kind of crazy.
It brought joy to
And
my face.
I think it's an important place and movement per se to kind of bring back the humor that we kind of lost.
I'm very thankful that I was able to open my eyes to the truth. Never trusted birds.
I've never trusted
Never trusted birds.
No.
The spokesperson for the entire Birds Aren't Real movement, McIndoe!
The fact that he actually got a venue reserved for this is insane.
Birds aren't real! Birds aren't real! Birds aren't real! How are we doing tonight? Let me tell you this right now. The university doesn't want me sharing this information. Okay? They came to me, they said, go up, say hi real quick, give the mic back to Brendan. And I said, okay, but you know what? I lied. Say, I lied. I lied, okay? Here's the truth.
Oh,
The United
man.
States government murdered every living bird from 1959 through 2001. Is that okay with you? Me neither. I hate it.
Oh
Can I
my
get an
gosh.
amen? Can I get an amen? Do you want to be in a history book? Well, you're in it now. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. Birds aren't real. Birds aren't real. Birds aren't real.
Not gonna lie, I kind of want to go to one of these now. This like it's really stupid and it's a waste of time, but it looks fun. Like it looks fun to just go there and goof off with people. If they ever have one of these in my town, I might go to it as a joke, obviously. But man, this is. I love this. I don't know about some of y'all might find this creepy. I think this is hysterical that they could actually build a huge community around something as stupid as thinking that birds are drones.
The movement's pretty much made out of Gen Z and millennials. Because I've asked myself, why are these people here? Gen Z specifically, these people that have grown up with the internet seem to understand it on a different level.
Of course
In some
they
ways,
did.
it's like its own language, and I think that a lot of Gen Z feels madness and lunacy. And I guess laughing at the lunacy or embodying it can be an interesting way to express what you feel.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's been a long journey to get to this point. It honestly feels kind of crazy that we're finally in the stretch between LA and Twitter. We've been on the road for a week now, just me and Nick.
We are going to hold our next rally at Twitter headquarters, where we're going to gather bird outside and protest demanding that Twitter changes their logo. It's sort of a protest of not only Twitter, but of this concept of brainwashing.
We are gonna do some biblical shit with Twitter headquarters. We're gonna march around the building 3 times like it's Jericho.
Oh my gosh.
To attempt to get the building to crumble down. This has been a long time coming, so it feels kind of surreal. Ready to go make a stand.
I mean, in a lot of ways right now, it feels like we're in the last chapter of the book. Connor is about to be doing different things. He's moving to Colorado, and Birds is no longer in character. It's growing up.
And there she is.
We're walking this whole thing 3 times.
There's an alley right there that we cut through. So I mean, it's still long. It's gonna be by far the longest march we've ever done.
Each rally isn't just a rally. It's like sort of this
the
performance in
dedication,
and of
man.
itself. Fun part about that is that we have lore and history built out underneath it.
Immediately I'm thinking about we need to have water out here for people.
Yeah.
It's like we're all like walking around in this fiction novel together almost.
So
that's an epic
feeling
way to
really good
live,
about
man.
tomorrow. I think we're just gonna have to show up and do it. Sometimes I'll travel internationally, go to the Himalayas, just to breathe the drone-free air. This is
Oh
so
my gosh.
interesting. Just being out of character on camera at all is bizarre.
What? This?
It's just interesting. It feels vulnerable. You know, there's no vulnerability in being a character. So, a lot of vulnerability in being yourself. I was not expecting it to be as, like, personal of a thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when these, like, photo albums
That's
came back
funny.
from my parents. Admittedly, I've not looked at this in probably a decade. And it's
Peter
actually
McIndoe.
from when I was named Taylor, which was for the first 5 years of my life. And then when I was 5, my parents renamed me to Peter because they wanted me to have a biblical name. I mean, I grew up, homeschooled in a very hyper-conservative, closed-off environment. So I was kept from a lot of just normal media, was I'm not watching Superman, for instance, I'm watching Bible Man, stuff like that. When I was 10, actually, I told my mom that I was the type of Christian that didn't believe in God. And was treated like I was possessed by a demon. I'm talking about being 10 years old and having, people talk about exorcising you for saying that it's like, I don't really know about this flood thing, what? Or really the apple's the reason all the bad isn't, because it just didn't make sense to me, fundamentally. And whenever I did have access to the internet, could, access a lot of proof and a lot of context that was telling me the world was not really thinking this way.
Oh, okay.
I love this picture. I need to recreate this, honestly. I think that's a hilarious picture.
Yeah.
This is just shrouded in darkness for me, really most of this book. That's the thing, I don't even, really want to show too much of my family. That's something I couldn't even really talk about even to Madeline or my close friends until this year. It's a very vulnerable thing, it's weird talking about your family to anybody, so, or anything. That's why, I would even, haven't really talked about my family a lot, or anything like that, where really, if I'm getting down to it, that's really what a lot of it is about.
Oh, okay.
Just to exist, and I kind of had to play a character that wasn't myself. And I think that's kind of where it started. And I think it's kind of where my fascination with conspiracy thinking started. I think this is the character that I play because I just know this character really, really well. There's so many people like this in real life that I know. And what takes somebody to that point, of doing something like a bird truther and having an idea like that about these, elites or these villains totally consume their personality and their life and their families and their jobs.
Pretty epic way to get attention.
You can reposition yourself in your mind of I'm no longer the victim, I'm a hero. And I'm not only the hero of my story, I'm God's chosen hero. Myself and my friends and this small group of people, it's us against the world. I'm feeling pretty peaceful. How are you guys feeling?
I just want to make somebody laugh today. I want to hear some laughter.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a banger.
Yeah. It feels good. I think Peter and I have talked, we never wanted to do this forever. A lot of memories that we've made together, and we've literally been all over the country, and this is the apex of everything that we've talked about for a long time, so.
To start something new, there kind of has to be a death of what was. Natural change. All right, everybody, let's do 3 deep breaths in unison. Ready? Welcome to Twitter Day. We're here. Everyone will have a very important job today, both during the day and during the rally. Carter, you'll be driving the van. We need your LA driving skills. Your guys' job will basically just be people duty. Connor will be on the ground with you guys and will basically just be directing. We need Eric to lead people across. Evan, you'll be leading the rally in front of Eric and I. Today, each of us will be the personification of truth, justice, and liberty. Are you ready? Woo! Woo! All right, let's go. All right, hands in the middle. 1, 2, 3, truth. 1, 2, 3, truth! All right, let's go.
This is nuts, dude.
So I've asked myself, why have I played this character for 5 years? I think it's because that was the story that felt worth telling and seemed to really become more and more of a reflection of America and a reflection of this feeling that I feel when I go on Twitter or that I feel when I walk outside. That lunacy and embodying that kind of in the real world, yeah, seemed very worth.
Are you ready to march? After today!
Dude, the people on the streets must have, like, zero clue as to what this whole van is doing, man. They probably look at this van being like, what is wrong with this people? I'm also wondering, because they're outside of Twitter headquarters, I'm wondering how many people who work at Twitter understand what this is, and how many of them are looking out their windows and thinking, like, what is this crazy mob doing outside our building? I mean, I hope they didn't get in any trouble, and I don't think they would do something, you know, worth getting into trouble, but man, this is just crazy to think about. I bet there's also some people inside Twitter who know exactly what's going on and who are dying of laughter. I hope they all get the joke. I think that would be fun, but oh, this is crazy.
Twitter logo will no longer be a bird. Birds are real. 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 Birds are real.
Birds are a communist hoax? What? Oh man, these guys are taking this so far.
Look at the facts. Just look up online. I mean, this is something I think we inherently always knew, but it's about time that we actually talk about
It's
it.
anti-bird.
I've never met someone that showed up at a Birds Aren't Real rally thinking it's real.
Okay,
Except
good.
for if they think it's real and they're not a part of the movement.
Oh, okay,
Everyone
okay.
is coming together, all with their own signs and all ready to like play their part.
They
All right, cool,
monitor
cool.
all aspects of our lives. Sometimes you'll think about a product, and then next thing you know, you're getting targeted ads on your phone.
Everyone's talking in
Oh my
character
gosh.
from the moment that you step onto like the rallies. Everyone's acting, but there's been no conversation about it. Like there's no plan or rehearsal or huddle. It's like people show up and they know the role.
Dude, that's like the most epic example of like community theater ever. Oh, dude, I just love that. I think that's awesome.
I really want to wind up on the Birds Aren't Real Instagram. That's really my only goal, and I'm going to be very honest about that.
We are here today to protest and make Twitter change their logo to the propagandist pro-bird brainwash imagery. Why is the Twitter logo a bird? Why? Because they're trying to brainwash you.
The rallies to me are like a really clear, simple representation of what I like about the idea. A fictional character can exist in the real world, and the people in the real world are playing characters in the story, same as the fictional character, but they don't even know that just by being themselves, they're in the story. You know, they're in the piece.
Right now, we're about to march around Twitter headquarters 3 times like it's Jericho and take this building to the ground. Are you ready?
Wow. They got bagpipes and everything. They are thinking about this way too much.
We're all telling ourselves a story about our lives to ourselves. Everyone is doing that to some degree, tweaking elements of themselves to find that identity. I've thought of that about myself too with Birds Aren't Real. Birds Aren't Real has been my way. Find identity and purpose and community. You know, just like a conspiracy theorist.
That's a
This
fun
is a good
way to
capstone
start a
to kind of
community.
place on this whole experience, and I think being out of character kind of allows us to talk about it and process it together. You know, we're brothers, and we'll always be brothers, and we'll always be best friends. But I'm excited to get back to that, because doing this together has kind of put a strain on our, you know, friendship.
It's a new chapter.
It is a new chapter for sure, and that's a good way of looking at it.
I think when I do get back home to Arkansas, I will miss the character, because, but like taking that feeling of lunacy and like role playing it and like laughing about it with people, I don't know. There's something that feels sort of healing about that to me.
It's bittersweet.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
You're doing
man,
God's work.
crazy,
Love-
dude. Love you guys.
Doing
Have
God's
fun.
work.
Let's roll. But yeah, wow, on the other side of Twitter now. I love Birds Aren't Real.
All right. There's a lot to unpack there. I think them doing their final like movement as birds aren't real in front of the Twitter headquarters, that's an epic way to go out. I think that's awesome. Let me know what you guys think about a movement like this down in the comments below. I think it's crazy how someone could take something so stupid like this and just start it off as a joke and then build a huge community around it that's in on the joke without actually officially like stating they're part of a joke and convincing people that they actually believe this stuff. Oh, this is hilarious. Look, by reacting to this video, I'm just having fun laughing at this thing. And that was pretty much just the whole point of this video, just to laugh and have a good time with something that was made to be laughed and have a good time with. Yeah, I'm by no means like supporting birds aren't real. I'm not condoning going and starting your own fake conspiracy theory movement. Yes, it's funny, but it could get taken too far, so I would not recommend going and doing something like this. But I don't know, Peter McIndoe pulled it off pretty well. If you guys want me to react to more ridiculous, crazy things like this, let me know what you think I should react to down in the comments below. I'll leave a link to this video as well as some other funny birds aren't real stuff in the description below. And yeah, that's been it. Peace.